죽을 때까지 눈앞에 나타나지 않는다. 그 자필한 줄에 네 사인이면 돼. 네 자퇴서에 네 엄마가 썼던 이름처럼.
We've talked enough about male K-drama villains, and today we're diving into 13 actresses who didn't just play villains, they owned them so completely that we're still talking about these performances years later. Some of these characters made us want to throw things at our TV screens, while others had us secretly admiring their power moves. Either way, they all proved that sometimes being bad feels really, really good. Let's see who they are. 13. Kim Hae-yoon, Snowdrop.
뭐? 등록금으로 먹고 사는 주제?
Her role in Snowdrop gave us petty villain energy at its absolute finest. Sure, she wasn't the main antagonist, but she made every single one of her scenes count. Bunok was selfish, vindictive, and completely unapologetic about stirring up trouble whenever it suited her purposes. The brilliant thing about her approach was how she leaned into the messiness of it all. She wasn't trying to make Bunok likable or sympathetic. She was loud, she was chaotic, and she was hilariously self-centered. Yet, somehow, she gave the character enough depth that you could understand her motivations even when you wanted to shake her. That takes real skill. 12. Kim Ji-won, The Heirs.
Take back the luggage again and change the flight for tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I don't think he's gonna see me day after tomorrow.
Before she became the sweetheart we all fell for in Descendants of the Sun and My Liberation Notes, she was serving up ice-cold, mean girl perfection as Rachel Yu in The Heirs. This wasn't your run-of-the-mill high school bully throwing around basic insults. Rachel delivered her verbal attacks like they were works of art, precise, cutting, and delivered with that trademark glare that could stop traffic. What made Rachel so memorable wasn't just the designer outfits or the obvious wealth. Kim Ji-won found the hurt underneath all that privilege, the insecurity that made Rachel lash out in the first place. Fans still reference her performance as one of the most realistic portrayals of that spoiled, chaebol daughter energy we've seen in K-dramas. She had this way of making even her cruelest moments feel somehow understandable, which is exactly what great villain acting is all about. 11. Jo Woo-ri, My ID is Gangnam Beauty.
너도 남자애들한테 인기 많잖아. 예뻐서.
She pulled off something really tricky with Hyun-soo in Gangnam Beauty. She made manipulation look effortless. While everyone else was dealing with their drama openly, Soo was pulling strings behind the scenes with that perfect sweet smile plastered on her face. This scary part, you almost wanted to believe she was genuinely nice, even when you knew better. The genius of her performance was how she let Soo's real insecurities peek through just enough to make her human. Viewers were genuinely conflicted, half wanting her schemes exposed, half fascinated by how skillfully she played the game. It was this brilliant commentary on beauty standards and how they can twist people into versions of themselves they never intended to become. 10. So Ji-hae, Black Knight, The Man Who Guards Me.
한 번 안아주는 것도 안 돼? 기다릴게요. 다시 태어나 날 사랑해줄 남자로.
She brought something genuinely haunting to her role as Sharon in Black Knight. This wasn't a villain who relied on raised voices or dramatic outbursts. Sharon's power came from her eerie calm and that centuries-old grudge she carried like expensive jewelry. Every scene she was in felt charged with this quiet, dangerous energy. What fans couldn't stop talking about was how timeless she made Sharon feel, like this was someone who could have been equally terrifying in the Joseon era or walking through modern-day Seoul. And can we talk about those outfits? The costume team clearly understood that Sharon's wardrobe needed to match her personality, sharp, luxurious, and just dangerous enough to make you keep your distance. Number 9. Kim Hye-ra, The Uncanny Counter.
나? 그냥 저 믿어, 이 새끼야.
She has been building quite the reputation for playing morally complicated characters, but in The Uncanny Counter, she delivered villainy with real teeth. Her screen presence was the kind that made you unconsciously sit up straighter. Intense, unpredictable, and magnetically dangerous. What made her performance so unsettling was how casual she made cruelty look. Like being terrible to people was just another Tuesday for her character. Fans praise her ability to be charming and terrifying in the same breath, keeping viewers hooked even when they knew she was about to do something absolutely awful. 8. Cho Soo-young. Who Are You? School 2015.
니들이 고은별이라고 믿고 있는 애. 얘가 그 이은비야.
Her character hit different because there was nothing cartoonish or exaggerated about her cruelty. This was real, raw bullying that felt uncomfortably familiar to anyone who'd survived high school. She wasn't throwing around empty threats. She was systematic, relentless, and genuinely scary in how calculated her attacks could be. The fact that viewers said her performance gave them actual flashbacks to their own school experiences says everything about how convincingly she embodied this role. It wasn't comfortable to watch, but that was entirely the point. She took what could have been a one-dimensional bully character and made her feel disturbingly, authentically human. 7. Go Min-si, The Frog.
애초에 애가 없었어도 나랑 결혼했을까? 이해도 못할 걸 뭘 물어봐 이 모조리 새끼야.
She brought this unsettling, slow burn intensity to the frog that kept everyone on edge. Her character had this hypnotic quality. You found yourself wanting to trust her even when every instinct was screaming not to. She controlled every micro-expression, every tiny shift in tone, turning simple conversations into psychological minefields. Watching her work was like watching someone light a very long fuse. You knew something was coming, you could feel the tension building, but you never quite knew when or how it would explode. Fans described her performance as genuinely chilling because of how subtle and controlled it was. No big dramatic moments, just this constant undercurrent of something's not right here that never went away. 6. Kim Min-jung, The Devil Judge.
국민들이 감동할 거예요. 역시 이 나라의 큰 어른은 다르시구나 하고.
She strutted his every scene as Jung Sun-ah like she owned not just the courtroom, but the entire legal system. What made her terrifying wasn't just her ruthless schemes, it was how much she seemed to enjoy them. That smile while she was destroying someone's life, pure nightmare fuel, but also completely captivating. Behind the cameras, she worked closely with the costume team to make sure Sun-ah's power suits matched her personality perfectly. Bold, immaculate, and impossible to ignore, just like the woman wearing them. The result? Fans are still sharing screenshots of her looks across social media because honestly, even her villainy had style for days. 5. Han So-hee, The World of the Married.
그 여자 아까 우리 침실 쪽에서 나오던데 어떻게 된 거야?
She became the most hated woman in K-drama land as Yao Dag-young, and she wore that title like a badge of honor. This wasn't some cliched other woman character. Dag-young was smart, calculating, and knew exactly how to twist every situation to her advantage. She made homewrecking look like an art form. The chemistry between Han So-hee and her co-star was so convincing that it made the betrayal hit twice as hard. Viewers genuinely couldn't separate the actress from the role for months, which she took in stride with remarkable grace. She even joked about understanding why people wanted to hate her. That kind of professional attitude while playing such an intensely disliked character, that's pure professionalism. Number 4. Kim So-hyung, Sky Castle.
괜찮아 해서요.
Her character redefined what a K-drama villain could be. Forget screaming matches and dramatic confrontations, Ju-young dismantled entire families with polite suggestions and helpful advice. She was the puppet master who never needed to raise her voice because her quiet manipulation was so much more effective. Every scene with her felt like watching a chess grandmaster at work, always thinking several moves ahead while everyone else was still figuring out the rules. Fans called her the true architect of Sky Castle's chaos, and they weren't wrong. She proved that sometimes the most dangerous villains are the ones who smile while they're ruining your life. Number 3. Song Ha-yoon, Marry My Husband.
이제 화 풀어. 우리 원래처럼 잘 지내자. 응? 지원아.
She delivered one of the most gut-wrenching betrayals in recent K-drama memory as Jung Soo-min in Marry My Husband. Playing the best friend who stabs you in the back is no new territory, but she brought something genuinely unsettling to the role. She made Soo-min's two-faced nature feel so authentic that watching her scenes became this weird mix of fascination and pure frustration. What fans couldn't get over was how convincing her sweet act was, right up until the moment she'd flip that switch and show her true colors. Social media was flooded with viewers saying they made their blood boil even more than the male antagonist, which honestly says everything about her performance. By the end of the series, you didn't just dislike Soo-min, you felt every single betrayal right in your chest exactly the way the lead character did. Number 2. Kim So-yeon, The Penthouse.
평생 따라다닐 범죄자 꼬리표는 싫은 거겠지? 당신도 결국 헤라클럽 사람들이랑 똑같아. 아니? 더 바닥이야.
Her character became such a cultural phenomenon that she's basically a walking meme in Korea now. So-jin was loud, dramatic, completely unhinged, and absolutely magnetic to watch. She threw herself into this role with such commitment that even the most over-the-top moments felt perfectly authentic to the character. Her operatic meltdowns and those bone-chilling smirks earned her multiple awards and a permanent place in K-drama history. In interviews, she admitted that playing So-jin was physically and emotionally exhausting, but you'd never guess it from her performance. She made being completely unhinged look like the most natural thing in the world. Number 1. Lim Ji-yeon, The Glory.
한도에 맞게 들자. 알아들었으면 끄덕여.
Her role in The Glory gave us one of the most genuinely hateable villains in recent K-drama memory. Yeon-jin wasn't just mean, she was cruel in that bone-deep, life-destroying way that made your skin crawl. And yet her commitment to the role was so complete that you couldn't look away, no matter how much you wanted to. The preparation she put into this role showed in every detail, from her character's body language to the way her voice would shift depending on her audience. She was nervous about taking on such an intense character, but she went all in anyway. The result? Major acting awards and a permanent spot in the Best K-Drama Villains Hall of Fame. Sometimes the scariest villains are the ones that feel like people you could actually meet. If you're craving more villains in a male version, you should definitely check out my previous video on the 13 K-drama actors who played the hottest villains who were difficult to hate. See you over there.